So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. You're welcome to this week's Forex Outlook with Great White FX and Trading Pro Nigeria for the 15th to 19th of April 2024. So without taking so much of our time, this review is being sponsored by Trading Pro, prolific, proficient, professional. We trade together as one. So as always, let's start off with the economic calendar. The economic calendar is looking, there are lots of high impact news, but we don't have any major impact news that will cause like a rate news, something like CPI on the dollar index or something like that. But we have some high impact news on Monday. That means Monday is going to be interesting. China GDP. Tuesday, we have important news. London, New York session on Tuesday. It's not going to be so heavy till 6:15 when some people will be speaking. Then it's interesting, but not so heavy to cause pandemonium. So that's out of the way. Let's get down to our charts and see what our chart has for us. So we're going to start off with US 100. So looking at the US 100, just like I pointed out last week, if you go to the weekly, we are within the body of this big candle. You can see we are within the body of this big candle, and we can see the retracement. So this is the third week within the body of this candle, and the high, neither the high nor the low has been breached by price. So we basically on the weekly we are in a range. If we come into the daily again, you can see it. You can see it clearly, slightly clearly on the daily. That weekly dealing range high. Come in. Let me look for the weekly. Okay. This is the weekly dealing range low. Let me look for let me note it on my chart so that when I drop down to the weekly, I'll be able to see it. So if I go down to the daily, so if you notice, this is the weekly low. But if you look at the daily now, there's another master candle here. This is clearly a master candle. Why? Because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bodies, 5 candles within its high to its low. So basically on the daily, this is a range. On the daily, this is a range. The next way we're going to go to is the 4-hour. So looking at the 4-hour, this is also in a range. So if you ask me on this pair, I would say since we're near the bottom of this range, we should be waiting for a slightly bullish run. We might see a bullish run and a move lower on this pair. Are we on the same page? So because of this down close candle, which was used to break this high, we might see bullish evidence here, then a continuation to the upside because this pair is just in a range. So we might just see price spike this low at 17,913 and then continue back to the upside for now. But should price break this range low and close below it on a daily bias, then we'll continue to see lower prices. Then that means that if we go back to the daily, now I pointed at this candle. Once we get the daily close below it, strongly below it, and this other low here, then what you'll be waiting for is something like this, and then a move lower. But for now, the pair is in a range. So we trade accordingly. You wait for a low to be swept, bullish evidence, then back into the range. The next way we're going to be looking at is DXY. Just like I pointed out last week, this pair is bullish. But it wasn't so clear, but it has broken above this high, break retest, and an expansion to the upside. So this week, but if you look at where price is now, we have this swing high here at 106, 106.01. Price didn't close above it. If we look at it, price didn't close above it. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, so for this pair, we'll be waiting for a retracement. But this pair is going to move into this volume imbalance. There's a volume imbalance here. I think it's on the daily here. This is where most likely it's going to come for first. That is between 106.50 to 106.63. Then if this gives way, it's going to come up to 107.11. So for this pair, the dollar index, you'll be looking to buy into retracements. So you're watching this 4-hour fair value gap to hold as support if price drops in there, because it's at a high. So there's a possibility it will come down. Once it comes down, you take a long with bullish evidence. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the EURUSD. The EURUSD, for this pair, you'll be waiting for a bullish retracement and a continuation back to the downside. That's for the EURUSD, because it's bearish. The next one we're going to be looking at is the GBPUSD. The GBPUSD, I want to point out something on the weekly. If we look at the weekly is above what you refer to as a balanced price range. One candle down, one candle up. So that's where price is. So most likely on this pair, there's a higher chance that you're going to see a bounce, and that bounce might not be a small bounce. So you need to be aware of that. So we'll be looking for bullish evidence on this pair and a continuation to the upside. Bullish evidence, and that's the continuation is not a buy, it's just a buy to continue to the downside. So you'll be watching price to fill up this 4-hour fair value gap and continue back to the downside on the GBPUSD. So before we continue further, I'd like to introduce our preferred broker, Trading Pro Nigeria. The broker has been around for 7 years, and they offer lots of opportunity. We offer a trading community for those willing to learn, and also for those who want to learn but also want to earn at the same time. There are other trading services like PAM account management and copy trade services. So you could link up your account to any trader that has been doing very well. You go through the provider list, find out any trader you feel comfortable with, link up your account, and while doing that, you can also join the daily, weekly analysis, because I offer London charts, pre-London charts, and I do New York analysis by 10 a.m. every day. That's West African time, 10 a.m. every day in the group, in the community chat for those willing to trade the New York session. So they offer a whole lot of services that could help anybody overcome their trading challenges and change their financial story. So to sign up, look at the link. The link is in the description. As if you scroll down into this video, you'll find the link. You can start off from there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer your questions. So next pair, let's continue. The next pair we're going to be looking at is gold. Looking at gold, gold was amazing on Friday. It just dropped out of the sky. This pair is still bullish on the lower time frames. Like, let me show a little example here. If we look at this on the 5 minutes, if you were watching gold on the 5 minutes, this was the low that was used to make this high. The moment price did this, swept and couldn't go back above it, what the price dropped. So on the 5 minutes, we have what looks like a bearish move. On the 1 hour, this low was used to make this high. Price has closed below it. If we go down to the 4 hour, it's a 4 hour that is holding now. This last down candle that was used to break this high. There is going to be a reaction from it. But if that reaction does not create a new high within the week to take out 24.31, once it makes a lower high and breaks this level here at 23.30, 23.28, then we have a short-term high on gold. And then what that would mean is that most of the imbalance that has been created by this rally, that's here, price may try to come in to fill it. Because price has been efficiently delivered on the daily. There's no fair value gap on the daily, except for down here and down here. So we'll be watching. For now, where price is on the gold 4 hour is not where you want to take a shot. So you'll be looking for bullish opportunities here. Then based on what price does around this area, that will be a decisive factor. So you'll be looking for bullish evidence here to buy towards any of these volume imbalances on the 1 hour and the continuation back to the downside. So the next one we're going to be looking at is EURGBP. Looking at EURGBP, if we look at it from the weekly, has what looks like a bearish pattern, but price dropped below this low at 85.30 and closed back inside. So which means that if we're going into this new week, there's a possibility that we are going to see a bit of a bullish run back into this range here. You can see this is the low, this is the high. Price didn't close below it. It has closed back inside the range. And we have what looks like a swing low here. If you look at it, 1, 2, 3, the fourth candle. So going into this new week, the possibility is that we might see a bit of a down move on this pair and then a continuation into this area here, maybe to fill up this 1 hour fair value gap at 85.63. So that's what we'll be looking for on the EURGBP. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, Euro weakness, then by Wednesday to Thursday, we might see a Euro strength before a continuation back to the downside. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the British pound. British pound yen. Looking at this pair on the weekly, this pair is in a range, like I pointed out last week. This is the range low, 189.54. This is the range high, 193.53. If you go into the daily, we have, it's not going to be clear on the daily. You see clearly on the 4 hour. This area was used to break this high and this high. So that's where price has dipped into. So going into this new week, the possibility is that we might see one more stab into this area at the continuation to the upside. And I have a feeling that price may go on for the previous week's high. Why? This high didn't take out this low. Once a high can't take out the low, most often that high is going to become a target. So if we're going into this new week, we might be looking for bullish evidence down here and then a rally first towards 191.89 before this high at 192.99. Same thing if we look at the pound yen, no, the euro yen, sorry, the euro yen, if you look at it on the weekly, the same pattern, this weekly candle, 1, 2, 3, third weekly between the range high and the range low here. Price has rejected off this weekly fair value gap. If we drop into the daily, we would notice that price swept below here and closed back inside the range. This last down candle was used to break this high. So price has done a lower move into there, but didn't close into it. There's a weak rejection from there. So going into this new week, the same thing I have on the same outlook I have on the pound yen is what we'll be looking for here. So you'll be looking for a retracement here, a bullish evidence. So this is what you'll be looking for, something like this. You can buy here. If you get bullish evidence, you can buy here, or you wait for this to break here, come back in, then you take a long to this place. So that settles it for this week. Is there anybody who want me to look at before we call it a night? Hello? Is there anybody who want me to look at before we call it a night? So, in the absence of any pair.
AUD, okay. I was even trying to.
You say AUD what?
AUD USD.
AUD USD, AUD USD weekly. Oh, this is bearish. This is the target. Jump into the daily. You'll be watching this low and this point here. This place didn't make a new high, so price has closed below it. So You'll be waiting for a retracement. Retracement is what you'll be waiting for to sell into. And if that should happen, your target is going to be 66, 64.42. Price is at this fair value gap here, so you don't want to take a short here. You wait for a retracement and they move back. So as long as price does not go back above 65.53 on the 4 hour, it's going to continue back to the downside. So on this pair, it is a buy to sell. So that settles it. I wish everybody a beautiful night's sleep, a lovely Sunday, and a wonderful trading week ahead. So good night, everybody, and thank you for attending.
Okay,
Thank you,
good
sir.
night. We appreciate you.
Good night.
Good night.